question. And just to rewind the tape, what Jack Smith did today is he said he had to dismiss these two indictments, or he dismiss his indictment because of two memos written by the Justice Department in 1973 and 2000 that forbid the indictment warrants of a sitting president. Now, those didn't directly control this case because Trump was a private citizen when he was indicted, so it wasn't like 73 or 2000, in which the question was, could you, for right away, indict a sitting president? But the Justice Department today concluded that the same logic applies. And I think the most important point about this, and it'll come out, I suspect, in the final report, is this is a really good example of the Justice Department being principled. I think it's in the finest traditions of the department. The Justice Department could have, read those two memos, said they don't apply, that this case is different because it's not the same. It doesn't it involves someone who's indicted before he was president and the like. But they did none of that. They just, stuck to the law, stuck to the memos that had been written before. And so when Trump gets off these charges today, I think it's important our viewers know he's not getting off them because A, he's innocent, or B, because Trump pressured and intimidated Smith into dropping those charges. He's getting off because of a longstanding Justice Department policy. And as you mentioned, Jack Smith even went so far in the filing today as to say, our view of the merits, that is Trump's guilt and innocence, hasn't changed at all. The only thing that's changed is that he's now president, and under these two memos, he can't be indicted then. So I suspect all of this will be written into that final report that Jack Smith writes. You
said it best. You said, I wish I had a time machine to go back to 1787 so I could tell Madison and Jefferson their constitutional republic committed suicide in 2024 for want of a no criminals clause. Mm-hmm. Stuff we never thought we'd have to say. Don't put a crook in the White House.
I know they didn't put it in there explicitly because they figured that a population could never be that stupid, right?
Right.
This is like a younger, more hopeful you. You said, I can't believe I ever thought Donald Trump would be held accountable for his crimes.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I am so naive, and I always thought I was not.
I know. Glenn Kirshner was on just a little while ago, Rachel, and we were saying, even though it's expected, we knew it was going to happen, it still is just stunning, that the stuff we've been taught ever since, that you were talking about, that we're, no one's above the law in America. Just, not anymore, right?
Not anymore. And certainly not the guy that's about to create an autocracy, right?
Yeah. Well, we talked. Oh, you still have that great laugh.
I do have that. I'll always have
whistling
that.
past the graveyard.
And I always have my sexy liberal. So I'm okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, so we talked about this little bit off air, and I think part of your frustration is, you've been so right about so much stuff, and you've been screaming about strategy and what to do. And talk a little bit about that feeling of what we should have done, what we didn't do.
Yeah, I got to tell you. I think this audience, you understand what we're coming up against, okay?
Yeah.
There was never going to be like a reset or another chance, right? So 4 years ago, I was like, hey, we're going to have one chance to stop this man in 2024, and we are not going to be able to do it with positive ads. And so I devoted my whole life. The first thing I did was I tried to create a super PAC, which you should never do unless you're wealthy, okay? Because you can't fund it, right? But I met with donors who went on to Future Forward, and what I told them was like, look, what we're spending right now a third of every budget on testing, and that testing is flawed because you can throw one set of ads into one testing software and get one score, and you can throw it into a different testing software and get a different score, okay? And that's bad, because that means the measuring is the difference, not the product that you're trying to measure, okay? And so we should abandon all the testing because it's a waste of money and it takes us down the wrong path, and we should just be pounding and napalming Trump and the Republican brand day after day, ad after ad, 90% pound, okay?
Yeah.
And what did they go do is they've spent $1 billion on positive ads, dude. Like I feel like I'm a Groundhog Day.
Yeah, we always talk about this, the need to be alpha liberals and to fight differently or better. The fact is, hope and joy ran this time and got beaten by hate and fear,
It did. hate did win. Hate wins, guys. Like, oh my. And so like, it's like, stuck in Groundhog Day now because everyone's like, well, what should we do in the future? And number one, I am not bullish on a future. Okay. That's why I devoted my life to this election and needed them to listen to me this time. And instead, it's not like these people don't know about my work, right? So like they did the exact
Listen to me.
stuff.
Listen to me, lady. We're in that chick flick together, and you're like, go ahead without me. I'll never make it, and I will drag your ass with me. Like, no, get up. We are not giving up. Get up.
No doubt. I need it right now, man.
I mean, we all do. We all I've been on the phone with our friend Bob Seska. I've been, with Jody, with other, JoJo from Jurors, other people we love, just, because we all need to lift each other up now, because we're all like this, going through, menopause and puberty again, all over again. Just
no
up,
doubt.
down,
At least
up,
we
down.
can all know that we did our own part, right? We did our part. Okay, it wasn't good enough. We didn't end up working.
Yeah.
But like many of us devoted a lot of time and effort, and that didn't get washed away by the result.
Rachel, we've been talking about this over this past week. I'm so happy you're here today because we were saying they ran $150 million against trans people ads.
Yes.
I mean, and I think what my frustration was right out of the box is, oh my God, we lost against all lies. It'd be different if we lost if they really were doing trans surgery on your kid in school without your permission, or Haitians really were eating your pets.
Right.
But we lost on a solid wall of lies that were because of their right-wing ecosystem and Fox News and the mainstream media. They were just, because again, Kamala Harris, we didn't run on trans people. They brought up the trans issue.
No,
right?
That's exactly right. And it was always going to be that way. So like months ahead, when I started trying to pitch candidates, not long shot, some long shot candidates tried some stuff, okay? I'm talking about swing race candidates, the marquee races with big money investment. And I said, look, so this is what's going to happen to you. Come September, they're going to be pounding you on two things. Trans people, hey, Mike, Mike wants to turn your your boy into a girl. And the migrant crisis, guys, and we can talk about the border, because like that 4-year period of the Biden administration, it created a giant surge of migration. They exploit it, okay? They exploit their shit. We do not.
No, can't say that. Can't say that.
Oh,
but no, I was saying to your point, their
right?
obstructionism worked this time. They're the ones that obstructed the border bill, but somehow that didn't get through in this disinformation
never knows
ecosystem.
any of that stuff, and they know it, right? I mean, look at Trump.
Right.
Like I keep posting this picture of Trump on the stump, and the banner behind him is his face, and just Trump will fix it. Okay, that's the electorate, guys. That's who you're talking to. And people are attracted to populism and to simplicity, and especially when they're afraid, and especially when they've been pounded to be afraid, right? So that's what the point of all that migrant and trans advertising was to make people afraid. And then you dangle a solution, a simple, safe, solid, single solution, right? And it sucks, because it'd be one thing like if we were talking about this and we never saw any of this coming, okay? But if you spent 4 years of your life knowing it was coming and telling people, and then having a guide they could use to prevent it, it could be a little painful.
And I mean, let's start there. Let's forget all his crimes. That he had the worst, most disastrous presidency ever, and was able to get reelected because our information system seems to just memory hole all that crap. And
I've been using data to make my points, right? So I've been showing people. Listen. The messaging of a campaign is not set by what they say on the stump or even in the debate. Okay, which some people actually do watch. No one watches the rest of this stuff, the conventions or any of it. The message of the campaign is what they put the paid advertising behind, okay?
Yeah.
And we have the data, so we can see, right? Trump is all centralized on immigration and trans. Almost everything is that. Almost none of it was positive. Almost none of it. Like 90% was negative.
Yeah.
And then on our side, it's this and that and this and that. And so, yes, she talked about democracy a little bit. Yes, she talked about abortion a little bit. But they did not create a wedge centralized campaign the way that they did to us, to make us, to hang those issues on us. And here's the thing, Steph, I've seen testing again, where they made decisions on that said, voters don't care about Trump, don't talk about Trump, talk about positive things, okay?
Right.
And here's a stat that's going to kill you from the same polling thing that I've been putting out all week. 60% of swing voters said they had fond memories of the Trump years.
Oh, hi. I just finished, I'm going to say, an 11 billion mile bike ride. And thank God I happen to have this magic potion with me, ASEA, as seen on the Stephanie Miller Show. It helps my cells communicate better so that I can heal faster from overdoing because I'm lying about my age. I also use it on my face.